If I was to do this journey all over again, the main thing that I would do is I've been avoiding holding the mic like this because I'm just not really into it. But because of my location, by force, I have to hold the mic like this because in my previous videos, you can hear the wind, the trees, the birds, and now this busy road to the right of me. Welcome back to Top Takes by Enjoy the Collective, the segment where we break down the important hot topics within the independent creative community. I am your host, Marseille, creative director and design educator. And today's top take is the 7 things I would do differently if I was to start freelancing in 2024. One of the things I love the most about Enjoy the Collective and this whole platform is really that it's an opportunity for us as independent creatives to learn from one another, learn from our mistakes, learn from the lessons that we have experienced along the way so that others don't have to go through the same things. And so with the new year approaching, like most of us, I am in reflection mode. And I started thinking about if I was to start working for myself in 2024, what things would I change? What things would I improve? And how would I do things differently? So number 1, kicking things off is setting a clear vision and goal for myself. I would think about what is my overall vision? Where am I trying to go? What am I doing this for? I think I just kind of came out of the gate of I'm done working 9 to 5, climbing the corporate ladder, and I'm just going to work for myself. So maybe quite young, maybe quite arrogant, but that was my mindset. And I didn't really have a goal or a vision. I just kind of went in. I had done very little research on working for myself. And so I wasn't really best prepared. And so if I was to do things again, I would set out a clear vision for my creative practice. I would think about what kind of things do I want to niche down into? What kind of clients do I want to work with? What kind of brands do I want to collaborate with? Where do I see myself and the lifestyle I'm trying to cultivate? And then work towards that. I am a firm believer that without a clear vision and path, you kind of just stumble your way through taking the opportunities that come to you, but never really intentionally going for the things that you want. And I know for myself, there were things that I wanted, but if I'm completely honest, I was just too afraid to go for. Having a clear vision means you're best placed and best positioned to actually craft the life and lifestyle that you want. Number 2, maximize previous employment. If I was to do this journey all over again, the main thing that I would do is I would maximize my previous employer. And I don't mean taken advantage of by any means, but I would use that time before even handing in my notice to really start to build strong relationships with people not only in my team, but within the company. These can be potential people that can recommend you for work moving forward. They could become potential clients, but ultimately just expanding my network and really start to talk myself up in terms of my skills, my offering, the value that I bring. I would also invest in getting to know them a bit more and seeing how we could potentially work together in the future. Another thing I would do within my previous employment would be to understand the structure of business. So when I first started working for myself, I worked for an international company with offices all over the world with people from all walks of life, from all different countries, and we would often work in different offices around the world. I mean, not me, but others who were more senior in the company. This company made a lot of money. I remember Googling the price of one of the office chairs and it was stupid. It was a stupid price. And so I really would have tried to glean the information of how does business work? How does it run? What is the structure of business? How do you make sales? What is marketing? How do you hire someone? How do you let someone go? I really would have gotten in there in those meetings with heads of departments to really understand the ins and outs of running a business and glean all of that useful information for my own creative business. Another thing that I would do before leaving my previous employer would be to gain access to resources. What tools or equipment do they no longer need or use? What things are they giving away or what things could you buy at a discounted rate? You have to remember that with these bigger companies, they have budget, whether yearly, for equipment. And so when that year or 2 is up and the equipment is old, they happily get rid of it and then buy new ones. And so with the equipment that they no longer need or deem necessary or usable, I would inquire about what happens to equipment that they are no longer using, and how does one go about gaining access to this equipment, such as laptops or a mouse or a keyboard, or even login information for useful platforms that I could maybe use or leverage. Something that I have really taken with me from my grandmother is, if you don't ask, you don't get. And so if I was to do this again, I would definitely ask. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Number 3, build a financial buffer. Now, this one seems obvious in retrospect, but at the time, I don't think I thought too much about it. I thought it would be super simple, getting clients and making lots of money. And I don't know that I was fully financially prepared as I should have been. Bearing in mind, I was renting a flat in London. I had to pay rent, council tax, utility bills. And so I had a lot of responsibility. And so this is something I would definitely revisit and do differently. So whether it would be saving a large sum to kind of cover me for an extended period of time as I got on my feet with working for myself, or potentially looking into getting a part-time job in a relevant field to my industry. So whether that would be working part-time in a printer's, a receptionist for a creative studio, anything that would put me in a position to be in a creative industry, meet other creatives, and learn something new that could potentially be valuable to the things that I'm doing in the future. In one of the episodes from the podcast, one of the guests, Amara, spoke about her transition from working in full-time employment to working for herself, and how much wisdom she applied to making sure that financially she was sorted. And so just listening to her and her gems and wisdom really just reminded me that, yeah, that is something that is super wise and necessary to do. So if you haven't checked out the episode, feel free to check it out and hear Amara's wisdom for yourself. I'll probably link it above here somewhere. Number 4, connect with a creative community. Before starting out running my own creative practice, I think it would have been wise to actually have connected with other creatives who are in a similar position to me. Thankfully, in my years of experience, I have come to truly value and recognize the impact of community. A lot of opportunities that have come my way have come through word of mouth, and people that I have connected with, people that have recommended me, people that I have built relationships with over the years. And so I would have definitely connected with a creative community to begin with. Even now, it's something that I do as someone who has a lot more experience. When a project comes my way that is not suited to me, or I don't have capacity for, or maybe I'm not actually interested in, I can pass it on to others within my community. And I think as a creative, that is super useful. You're not always going to have the network to begin with to get really great clients, but if other people do, then you get to benefit from them too. If you're looking for new opportunities, then join the mailroom. The link is below. That is a newsletter where I'll be sharing new upcoming work opportunities for creatives. Number 5, establish a solid contract. So this one I learned from experience, and not great experiences at that. It is super important as an independent creative to have a solid contractual agreement that does a great job at protecting you from mishaps and unfortunate things that may come as a result of working for yourself. So when I first started out, I think I just grabbed a contract from Google. I just Googled creative contract and took something from that, tweaked it to suit my needs, and thought that that would be sufficient. Unfortunately, in that situation, it really wasn't. And I ended up in a really sticky situation where a project I was commissioned to do that didn't go forward in the end, that person then took the concept that I had developed and logo ideas that I had developed and kind of ran with it. But there was nothing in my contract that protected me against that. At the time, I was also contracting for another company, and I was working there as the creative director. And so my role was to commission creatives for various projects, which obviously involved a lot of contracts and agreements. This company had an amazing contract lawyer, and through me liaising with him on a regular basis for the work I was doing with them, I was able to get his expertise regarding the situation and also a new contract for projects moving forward. If you're a creative looking for a contract that is going to protect you, then check out the link below. I have a contract template just for you. Number 6, confidence. For some reason, we just don't have the confidence. Even though I had studied design, I had worked in design for a number of years, I still just lacked self-belief and just didn't believe in my ability. And I don't really know why, because now I can see I was and am an amazing designer. I'm sorry, but that's just factual. But with a lack of confidence also comes a lack of self-worth, which means I was not charging the prices that I should have been for the value that I was bringing to these projects. And when I say value, I was going into detail. Like, I would schedule calls and really try to understand business pain points, the problems, and a creative way to solve that problem. I would do mood boards and strategies and keywords and concepts. I was doing a lot and I was not charging nearly enough. I think I was of the belief that once I had a few more projects under my belt, once I had some bigger clients or bigger brands or a bigger budget under my belt, then I would charge the price that I'm worth. But the reality is, the value that we bring as creatives is immense, and we for ourselves have to recognize that. It definitely was a strong case of imposter syndrome where I didn't feel like I belonged in the environment or that I was credible enough to work for myself and that I was like a real designer. There's a quote from Sister Act 2, I believe, that has stayed with me till this day. And it goes something like, if when you wake up, all you think about is writing, then you're a writer. And so if I took that same mindset and applied it to myself, then if all I thought about was designing, then I'm a designer, therefore I am qualified. Number 7, my title. If I was to do this journey of working for myself again, I would not refer to myself as a freelancer from the beginning. First of all, I think the perception to clients and potential clients who don't necessarily understand the value of the work that we do. Having free in your title doesn't win you any favors when negotiating your price. And so I would probably refer to myself, as I do now, either as an independent designer, as either a specialist in my particular field, a creative business, having my own creative practice, and something that just reflects the weight and value of what I do and what I bring. So there you have it, the 7 things I would do differently if I was to start working for myself in 2024. So now I want to hear from you in the comments below. I want to know, what things would you do differently if you were to start again? If you enjoyed the episode, then please do like and share with someone who would also benefit from the content that is shared. And I will see you in the next one.